Welcome to the Psychology and Physical Training channel, The Intricacies of Experimental Design. 1. Have you ever wondered why experimental designs are the backbone of research methodology? Well, it's because they're the secret ingredient to creating knowledge that stands the test of time. They're the framework that guides the collection and analysis of data in any study. So, let's delve into the world of research methodology first. Research methodology is the systematic, theoretical analysis of the methods applied to a field of study. It comprises the theoretical analysis of the body of methods and principles associated with a branch of knowledge. Essentially, it encompasses the whole process of data collection, what data is collected, and how it is collected. Now, within this vast field, experimental designs hold a special place. They are the blueprints for your experiment. They lay out the procedure that ensures the researcher is able to conclusively establish cause and effect relationships, and not just correlations. This is achieved by controlling the influence of other variables that might be affecting the outcome of the study. Think of it as a chef following a recipe to create a culinary masterpiece. The chef needs to know not only the ingredients but also the quantities, the order in which to mix them, and even the temperature and cooking time. Similarly, an experimental design outlines the variables, how they will be manipulated, and how they will be measured. A well-crafted experimental design can lead to results that are both reliable and valid. Reliable in the sense that if the study were repeated, the same results would be obtained. Valid in the sense that the results accurately reflect what they are supposed to measure. But remember, just like a recipe can't guarantee a delicious dish if the chef doesn't follow it correctly, an experimental design can't guarantee valid results if the researcher doesn't execute it properly. So the key takeaway here is that experimental designs are not just important, they are crucial. They are the roadmap that guides researchers to their destination, the truth. Without a solid experimental design, the results of a study may be nothing more than an educated guess. The what and why. Now that we understand the importance of experimental design, let's delve into the world of between-group designs. Between-group designs are a cornerstone of experimental research. They involve comparing two or more distinct groups on what we call the dependent variable. The dependent variable is essentially the outcome or result we're interested in. Think of it this way. Imagine you're a scientist studying the effects of a new learning technique on students' grades. In this scenario, the new learning technique is your independent variable, the factor you're manipulating. The students' grades, that's your dependent variable, the outcome you're measuring. In a between-group design, you might have two groups of students. One group uses the new learning technique. We'll call this the experimental group, while the other group sticks to the old method. This is the control group. By comparing the grades between these two groups, you can see whether your new technique has any effect. So why do we use between-group designs in research? Well, they offer a host of benefits. Firstly, they allow us to observe the effects of different treatments or interventions. In our example, we can see if the new learning technique improves grades. Secondly, between-group designs help us eliminate certain types of bias. By randomly assigning participants to the experimental or control group, we can ensure that any differences in results are likely due to the intervention, not some underlying characteristic of the participants. Plus, between-group designs can be used to compare more than just two groups. Maybe you want to test 3 or 4 different learning techniques. With a between-group design, that's no problem at all. But remember, like any research method, between-group designs have their limitations. They require larger sample sizes and more resources, and they might not be suitable for all types of research. The between-group design is a powerful tool in the researcher's arsenal, allowing for the comparison of different groups and the observation of various effects. So whether you're studying learning techniques, testing a new medication, or exploring the impact of a social intervention, a well-designed between-group experiment can provide invaluable insights. Randomized groups, VIs, matched groups. In the realm of between-group designs, two types stand out: randomized groups and matched groups. But what sets them apart? Well, let's dive into the nitty-gritty. In randomized groups, participants are randomly assigned to different conditions. Think of it as a lottery draw. An individual's place in the experiment is determined by chance, not by any particular characteristic they possess. This method is quite popular in many research fields due to its simplicity and fairness. It helps to ensure that each participant has an equal chance of being assigned to any condition, which in turn aids in reducing bias. However, as with most things in life, it's not without its downsides. One key drawback of randomized groups is that it can lead to unequal distribution of certain participant characteristics across conditions. For example, if you're studying the effects of a new learning method on students' math scores, you might end up with more math whizzes in one group and more math strugglers in another, purely by chance. On the flip side, we have matched groups. In this approach, participants are carefully matched based on certain characteristics and then assigned to different conditions. Let's say you're studying the impact of diet on weight loss, and you have participants of various ages, genders, and starting weights. You might decide to match participants based on these characteristics to ensure a balanced distribution across conditions. This method can be extremely powerful because it controls for potential confounding variables. But it's also more complex and time-consuming than the randomized groups approach. Plus, it's not always possible to match participants perfectly. There will always be some degree of variability. So, which to choose? Randomized or matched groups? Well, as it often happens in research, the answer is, it depends. Both approaches have their strengths and weaknesses, and the best choice will depend on the specifics of your research question and the characteristics of your participants. Whether to use randomized groups or matched groups depends on the specifics of the research question and the characteristics of the participants. Recap and conclusion. We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's take a moment to summarize what we've learned. We've delved deep into the world of experimental designs, a cornerstone of research methodology. These designs are not just patterns on paper, but the very foundation of any research study. They give structure and direction, ensuring that the study's findings are valid and reliable. We've learned about between-group designs, a type of experimental design where different groups are exposed to different variables or conditions. This design is crucial in isolating the effects of a particular variable by comparing it against a control group or another variable. It's like comparing apples to oranges, or perhaps apples to other apples under different conditions. But the story of experimental designs doesn't end there. We've also explored the differences between randomized groups and matched groups. Randomized groups are like a lucky dip. Each participant has an equal chance of being assigned to any group. This randomness helps to counteract any bias and ensures that any differences found are truly due to the variable being studied. On the other hand, matched groups are carefully paired based on certain characteristics or variables, such as age or IQ. This method can help control for these variables and focus more specifically on the variable of interest. It's like pairing up dance partners based on their height and skill to ensure a fair competition. These are not just theoretical concepts, but practical tools that can be applied in the field of research. Whether you're studying the effects of a new drug, exploring the impact of climate change, or delving into the mysteries of the human psyche, understanding these designs can significantly enhance the quality of your research. In essence, we've seen today that experimental designs are more than just a plan. They are the blueprint for discovery, the roadmap to understanding, and the key to unlocking the secrets of the world around us. Remember, the key to successful research lies in the design. Choose your design wisely, and your results will speak volumes. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and follow the Psychology and Physical Training channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.